Part 2. Azure Moon. Verdant Rain Moon. Our chosen paths. The Kingdom Army has captured Fort Mercius. Managing troops from the now stable Western Kingdom and former Alliance territory, the Kingdom Army returns to Garreg Mach to regroup and reorganize its forces. With sufficient might to challenge the Empire, the Kingdom Army finalizes their plans to march on Enbar, the Imperial capital.
Ah, there you are. His Highness was looking for you. He's gone ahead and started interrogating the prisoner, Viscount Kleiman's man. He said he'd like for you and I to be present as well. Will you come with me?
I cannot overlook your reckless remarks. Are you really so keen to lose your head?
I only did what I believed was right. I swear to the goddess that I'm not lying. Amidst the turmoil of the tragedy, Lady Patricia was supposed to be the only one who was unharmed. We had been given orders ahead of time to not approach her carriage.
Of course not. What would my stepmother have had to gain from such a...
Perhaps Lady Patricia would have done anything to return to the Empire, to her husband and daughter.
What exactly are you implying?
For the past few months, I've been spying on lords who defected to the Empire in order to investigate rumors about Lady Patricia. Cornelia's words were true. The two of them, I am afraid they conspired together after all.
Enough of this nonsense. You say she wished to return home? That isn't nearly enough reason to cause such a tragedy.
I do not intend to imply that the two of them were solely responsible for the whole affair. They were likely nobles who opposed the king, or potentially someone who wanted to throw the kingdom into chaos. The Empire and people like Solon and Kranya had their motives too.
So my stepmother joined with them to cause the tragedy. Is that what you believe?
Ultimately, this is just conjecture based on the evidence at hand. I have no idea what their true intentions were.
I see. We will hear what this man has to say. For now.
My lord had long felt that King Lambert's radical ways were dangerous. At the time, he was approached with an offer to take part in the incident at Dusker. My lord loves his homeland. To me, he embodied justice. We were only doing what we thought was right.
And so, in the name of justice, he caused massacre upon massacre out of love for his homeland. You murdered your own king, killed our soldiers, and involved innocent citizens. And yet you have the gall to speak of justice!
I am only standing before you now, because I could no longer bear the weight of my sins. Yes, I believe I do.
Gilbert, lock this man in his cell.
Are you not going to kill him?
I will make that decision once I have had time to consider this man's definition of justice.
Yes, Your Highness.
No, I cannot say that I am. Tell me, Professor, how well do you remember your father, Gerald? Soon enough, you will come to understand how painful it is to forget the faces of those who have passed on. To be honest, I cannot really remember my stepmother's... that woman's smile, nor the sound of her voice. I always told myself that I would not allow my mind to forget, and yet, all I can recall with clarity is her gazing away, so forlorn. Did my stepmother wish to go home so badly that she would kill Father and me? Kill her false family? Home to her own blood. Her true family. I suppose it doesn't make any difference now. I am asking you questions you could not possibly know the answer to. I am finished with thoughts like that. I am finally able to go on living without clinging to hate. If I truly treasure those who have died, then I must earnestly atone for my sins. Father, Glenn, all of the soldiers who have fallen, the people of Duscur who still suffer persecution. The only atonement I can offer them now is to take responsibility for this broken kingdom that has been entrusted to me. That is why I feel that I must meet with Edelgard and try to talk to her. Do you think it is a fool's errand? Honestly, I think so too. But I must swallow my feelings and grudges, our whole history really, and ask her about this future that she sees. What she aims for once her domination is complete. What kind of justice she clings to as she fights. And why she felt it necessary to start this war. I believe that asking her these things is the true responsibility I have been tasked with as king. We will march our troops to the Imperial capital. But before any battle begins, we will set up camp nearby and send a messenger. I will tell her that I need to speak with her in a safe place, without any weapons or troops. As to whether or not she will agree to my request, well, that rests solely on Edelgard. I would like to believe that as well. You know, Professor, when we fought in Ferdiad, Cornelia mocked me and called me pitiful. But even if it is true that my stepmother never loved me, I am not to be pitied. After all, I have allies and dear friends who care for me. And now, I also have you by my side.
Right.
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. The war is careening headfirst toward its grand finale. Do me a favor and get through this mess alive, okay? After the dust settles, maybe I'll go on to guard other entrances in other parts of the world. I'm a dreamer, my friend. Always have been.
Wow. We're getting along a lot better with the Kingdom soldiers recently. Everyone's in higher spirits. When they first got here, some of them were aggressive toward us, even abusive. All that's changed now. They've been courteous with us, generous even. It's nice to see.
The war might be over soon. All this time we've been fighting, and the end comes in the blink of an eye. I have no idea what I'll do afterwards, though. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I will. Though you already seem to know what you're going to do. Which is what, exactly? Actually, don't tell me your plans just yet. Let's revisit this topic when the war has drawn to a close.
Intriguing. Is it true what they say? That the Archbishop is a captive of the Empire? I've never heard of anything so brash in all the Empire's long history. It is vexing that Lady Edelgard's true motives elude me. If only I still had noble connections to draw on. The loss of my house has proven to be a thorn in my side again and again.
Okay, I'm thinking... 10 years ago, Dagda and Bridget attacked the Empire from the west. Their final target was the capital. But they were countered at a port town long before they reached their destination. We spent a lot of time going back and forth, but at least we made it this far.
It's very likely that Lady Rhea is confined in the Imperial Palace. If so, then our strategy will be to gain control of the streets and then assault the castle. A street battle followed by a castle invasion. It's just one battle after another. It'll be tough, but we have to win. For Lady Rhea.
I'm so glad you were assigned to the Blue Lion House, Professor. We made it this far, thanks to your guidance and leadership. There's a bitter fight ahead, that much is certain. You have my lance. Yes, let's do this together. Please.
I've got a bit of Dusker blood in me. Vargas is our ancestral enemy. But if that man is going to be the king, I don't see any harm in lending him my blade. I believe that we can forge a proud new kingdom. As you can tell, I'm expecting great things. I won't forgive you if you lose.
Attacking the capital means crossing swords with the Emperor herself. I hope you won't be caught unprepared. I've heard that she'll stop at nothing in the pursuit of victory. Be careful of that Hubert, too, the minister of the Imperial household. They say he's a cunning strategist.
Professor, we're about to put the finishing touches on this war. I wonder how Fodlan will look without the backdrop of death and destruction. I can't wait to see it. On the other hand, I'm terrified of what the future might hold. Who knows if I'll survive the assault on the capital?
Did you know? A magnificent canal flows through downtown Enbar. It's said to have been constructed under the guidance of Saint Seros before the Empire was even formed. Ever since, that canal has been a major lifeline for the capital's development. And now this is how the Empire repays it. Truly. No good deed goes unpunished.
Here we are, facing the final battle with the Empire. It's been a long, difficult struggle. We have to get Lady Rhea back. And we have to crush the Empire in the name of Captain Gerald. He's watching over us now, protecting us. I know he is.
Rhea will be somewhere in the city. I wonder if she can sense us coming. The battle will soon be upon us. Let us both be at our best for what is to come.
Professor!
Enbar's streets are paved with unhappy memories, Professor. I've avoided the damned place ever since I abandoned my nobility. Swore never to return. Now here we are. To return in this manner. Well, I can't say it is something I ever imagined. Especially as I'm returning to end the Empire. What a strange feeling, breaking one's history.
Well... I was born in Enbar. My mother and father met in a church there. Not too long after, I was brought into the world. I do not understand how war can happen in such a precious place. It is most regrettable.
You there!
Life can be tough, you know. But if you've got your friends to help you through, it can be a lot easier. Maybe you butt heads sometimes, but that's okay. That's how you build bonds, right? And I've got friends, Professor, plenty of those. It's true love that seems to have passed me by. But where is my true love to be found? Where is my ray of hope? At this point, I'm just hoping you stay single too. Then at least we can share each other's misery.
Hey!
Sorry, but I'm not the fighting type. All I can do is lend you the stuff you need. And, you know, pray to the goddess for your safety. Win, live, and return, okay? Mostly so you can pay me back for the stuff you borrowed.
That reminds me. Professor!
Let me consider. It matters not how just our cause may be. In the end, war is nothing more than organized murder. I understand the desire to reach a conclusion, but we mustn't overlook the sins inherent in our deeds. Sorry. I have a tendency to preach. We have lost so much. And in return, we have taken much from our enemies. I pray we can put an end to this cycle of violence.
I believe in you, but please ensure that His Highness survives as well. Fodlan's future would be in peril if we lost him. I would not be able to go on. Thank you.
Professor, our next battlefield will be the Imperial capital. There will be no turning back. If you have any unfinished business here, you had best settle it before we depart. I knew I could count on you. Good luck.
How would you know what's rare and what isn't? I still believe in the goddess. Sort of. I couldn't recount a single word of scripture for you, but my mother always prayed. I picked up the habit from her. Believe it or not, I'm praying for you too. for you to come back safe.
If you wouldn't mind.
Come to think of it, looks like we're nearing the end of this struggle. I'm sure Lady Rhea is on tenterhooks waiting for me to swoop in and rescue her. I was just kidding. Pay me no mind. Lady Rhea's not waiting for me, I know, no matter how much I might wish she were. She's waiting for you.
Well... Really?
Professor? I've been thinking about how we've got our own ideas about justice. And so does the Empire. And what's coming? It's not just a battle between us and them. It's our ideals that are fighting. Whoever wins will say they were right, and the other side was wrong. And I get it, that's how it goes. But nobody's willing to talk or compromise. So we'll fight to the death to prove the other guy's wrong. It won't be an easy battle, but let's make sure we come back alive. Right, Professor?
What the?
He intends to speak to the Emperor? She's his stepsister, I know, but this seems risky. No, I'm not. I'm sure he's thought it through. If the two can settle this diplomatically, that would be the best way out of this mess. No more bloodshed. Let's just hope he doesn't become so overwhelmed with emotion that he's unable to strike her down, should the need arise.
Professor! That's right. It's such a relief that we've made it this far without having to fight my father. Are you trying to scare me? What if he turns up while we're charging the capital? But still, I wonder what'll happen to him if we win.
Yes.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Momentum's really picking up for this final battle, huh? Even I'm starting to feel tense. Me! Enbar's history goes back 1,400 years. That even predates the founding of the Empire. It's one of the sacred sites of the Seros faith, so it's a pretty big deal. But hey, no need to worry about the monastery while you're fighting the final battle. I've got it covered. I'll defend it to my last.
Right. While on some business, I went to see how the kingdom capital is getting on. There are still some things to work out before it can be restored. But generally, things seem to have calmed down. It's on its way to resuming its old energy. I think this will end up being a better kingdom than before. I really believe that.
Interesting. Seems like the war is gonna end soon. Once the dust settles, it'll be back to rolling in fat stacks of gold for me. Hey, how about a favor?
Right.
Hello.
It's like this. I used to work for Cornelia in Ferdiad. I only followed her because I didn't want to die. But afterwards I felt so ashamed I wanted to die anyway. I still can't figure out why I did it. Anyway, I'm glad you did what you did. From now on, I'm going to devote myself to the kingdom and fight for what I believe in.
Wanting so desperately to speak with Edelgard, just as we're about to fight. Could it be that the prince is having doubts about killing her? Then perhaps it is okay. He's certainly changed from the vengeful person he once was. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm actually relieved. A king who's responsible for Fodlan's future can't exact personal vendettas and have a cold heart. I hope this is the final battle. Don't you, Professor? When the war is over, everyone will be busy with their own lives. But let's all meet up again someday. Right here at Garreg Mach. You, His Highness, my father, our monastery friends, the knights, everyone. It was just a silly whim I had, but I really love it. Oh, and I'll bake a bunch of desserts for it. Reunion sweets. All we have to do now is win. Let's get to it, Professor.
We'll be heading for the capital soon. So much rests on this moment. Will the war really be over if we take the capital? Yay! I'm sure it won't end right away, but that's still great news. I truly believe that a peaceful future is waiting at the end of all of this.
Professor, once you set out on your next mission, you won't be able to have a proper meal for a while, right? You should eat up while you can. Build up your physical strength to prepare for the mission.
That damn Dmitri guy plans to chat with the Emperor. Can you believe that nonsense? Really though, we've been trying to kill each other, and he wants to shoot the breeze? Is he dumb or just insane? No maybes about it, pal. You ask me, they should settle it like civilized folk, with their fists. Guess it's up to the one true king of grappling to talk some sense into old Dmitri. When I'm done with him, he'll be ready to brawl.
Professor!
Hello. I wonder what the Emperor looks like. I bet she's really scary. Oh, you don't think so? I've never seen her, so I was just guessing. She tried to destroy the kingdom and the Alliance, and order the capture of the Archbishop, right? I don't know. Someone who could do such terrible things just has to be really scary looking.
Hey! Professor! My mother might be in the city. I don't have many good memories of her, if I'm being honest, but she's dearer to me than my father. If you happen to see her, please make sure she's not caught up in all the fighting. She's only a civil servant, so hopefully she takes a cue from her burning and stays inside.
I keep thinking the war is near its end, then it isn't. When can we finally put this dreadful war behind us? That would be wonderful.
Imagine the last moment of combat, then peace. It sounds like a fairy tale. I want to make this a world where there is no fighting, where children can grow up happy and safe.
Returning to the monastery brings back so many memories from 5 years ago. Hard to believe we only spent a year together here. So much happened that it felt a lot longer than that. But it was all so exciting and so much fun. Honestly, I think those memories are what's kept me fighting this long. What was that year like for you, Professor? I don't think I could ask for a better answer. Let's all do our best to survive this, so we can come back here when it's all over. I know that's what I'll be doing.
Whenever I think about how we'll be seeing Lady Rhea real soon, I get happy and really get cleaning. We'll get there for sure, right? We'll see her again? I just gotta believe Lady Rhea is waiting for us in the capital. We just have to find her.
Do you have a minute, Professor? I gotta talk to you. I've been thinking a lot about those brigands with the scorpion tattoos, and I realized something. I mean, I'll feel better if I get this off my chest, right? Okay, listen. I think I can't deny who I am. I know you were right 5 years ago when you told me not to chase after that suspicious guy. But I still can't get over the possibility that he might have hurt those kids. I would have regretted not stopping him for the rest of my life. There's no way I could forgive myself. It sounds awful to say, but the safety of those kids is more important to me than the nights we lost. I'm sorry, Professor, but I can't promise that I won't disobey your orders in the future. I know, it's too big a risk to keep me around. I won't cause a fuss. I'll just pack my bags and... Wait, what? I guess so. You're really okay with me sticking around? Even if I might not always follow orders? People could get hurt if you let me keep doing things my way. Just like that? I almost can't believe it. I really struggled to come to this decision, you know? I want to stand by your side, but I won't stop standing up for what I believe in. I know I might cause trouble for everyone, but I just, you know, I give up. I've got nothing else to say. I should have just kept my mouth shut. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Professor. Thanks for accepting me for who I am. I'm glad I get to keep fighting by your side.
Hello, Professor. What brings you here? Fancy a bit of fishing? Are you looking for help with something? Ah, no. Your eyes tell a different story. You know, I can hardly go fishing without thinking of old Geralt. He and I would just sit here, casting our lines again and again. I'm no better at it now than I was then. Not a single nibble. Just like your father. You know all the tricks of the fisherman's trade. I was hopeless at it, but he was a master. In the time it took me to catch one fish, he could fill his basket to the brim. You know, talking to you, I'm feeling very nostalgic. Why don't you join me? We can trade some stories about the old man. We spoke before about how Gerald never seemed to age, right? Once, when he was drunk, he let the secret slip. He said he'd had an infusion of crest-bearing blood, and it had greatly extended his life. Well, we'd both been drinking. I figured he was joking, so I just laughed it off. Then I asked him his age. He said he'd stopped counting after he hit 100. And he was telling the truth. In those 20 years he was away, he didn't age a bit. An incredible person, to be sure. And I probably don't know the half of it. Actually, I'd like to ask you something about Gerald, if you don't mind. When Gerald was away from the monastery, what was he like? In other words, he was exactly the same. When he was with the knights, he always found time to go fishing. He was hooked on it, you might say. He'd say there was no greater pleasure in life than sinking his teeth into a fish he'd caught and washing it down with a drink. I have to say, right now, fishing with you, it really takes me back. This feels just like the good old days, when Gerald was sitting alongside me.
Hey, friend. Thanks for joining me when I had to deal with that mess a while ago. You were a real help. I wouldn't say you fully earned my trust, but you've earned something for sure. I owe you. I can't not worry about it. I don't like owing people. Guess I'll just have to surprise you someday. I was just rummaging through what we recovered from the Scorpions, and I stumbled across something pretty special to me. It was under lock and key, so those thugs probably thought it was something of high value. The Elder gave it to me when I was small. Losing it really got me where it hurts. I guess it couldn't hurt to tell you about it. Can't quite remember how old I was, but my mother had taken in an elderly man wandering the town. He was worse for wear, could barely even walk. She nursed him back to health under our humble roof. In return for her kindly gesture, he taught me to read and write. This notebook is a relic of those times. Not too long after that, I came down with a terrible illness. We had no money to speak of, so a doctor's visit was out of the question. My mother went everywhere asking for help, to no avail. And then the Elder stepped in and saved me. I don't know how he did it, or what it was he did. Could have been. I never knew much about him, honestly. He could have been a mage, a scholar. I haven't the foggiest. And I'll never know. Shortly after curing me of my illness, he passed on. Natural causes. My illness, it turns out, was part of a larger plague that swept through our village. So many died. And there I was, having escaped death by some strange luck. I felt grateful. And helpless. So little Yuri figured it would be his mission to help anyone he could as he grew up. However I could. Not necessarily by making gold rain from the sky, but in smaller ways. The streets are filled with kids who have no homes, no food, so many dying of disease, or some cheap medicine would have saved them. I figure, if I can save even one unlucky soul, well, then I'm doing my part, you know? It's a small dream, but it's one I hold in my heart. To help those who need it. It's what my gang's about. When I recruit my people, it's to that end. To give them a home. The turf wars, the gang, all of it. To honor that dream. Yeah? Well, thanks. Despite what you now know about me, I'm still the Lord of the Underground. Don't go forgetting that. I do what I have to, whether people view it as fair or foul. The way I see things, the goddess gave me 2 gifts, my life and my charm. That's been gift enough to get in with slimy nobles, so I can pull their strings as I see fit. Of course. It wasn't always easy, but in the end, it's all the same little game. Once I used a clever name, and my charms, to become the attendant to the head slug of a noble house. Yet another time, I took a name befitting the kingdom that landed me in the academy as a noble's adopted son. That's how I've gotten this far and earned my fortune. In doing so, I've spread my wings of protection further, to help those who need it most. As though I'd tell you, friend. But perhaps you can share what it is you think, hmm?
Hey, Caspar. Can I ask you something?
Well, hey there, Annette. What's on your mind?
Is there anything you pay particular attention to on the battlefield? Stuff you make sure not to mess up? I don't want to make any major mistakes again. So I've been thinking about how I can improve. But it's trickier than I thought. I was hoping you could give me some direction.
Nothing I can think of. Sometimes you just gotta mess up.
Hmm? Really? Nothing at all?
Nah, no matter how much you prepare, you're always gonna make mistakes. All you can do is quit worrying and try your best.
I guess that does sound like something you'd say. But I'm not sure how much use it is to me.
That's too bad. It's a great way to live. You worry about messing up, and all that worry makes you nervous, right? So being nervous on the battlefield is the reason you make mistakes you'd never make in training.
Well, yes. People's lives are on the line. If I mess up, they might actually die. When I think that my failures might put everyone in danger,
Ugh, you gotta quit doubting yourself. It's not helping. You're obsessing about failures that haven't even happened. What's the point in that? Sometimes you're gonna mess up no matter how hard you train. That's life.
So what you're saying is, I should stop being afraid of failure and just try my hardest on the battlefield, like I do in training.
Was I not clear on that? You just gotta deal with your mistakes when you make them.
That really is just like you, Caspar. I'm starting to feel stupid for worrying so much. You're so strong and confident. I really like that about you.
Aw, thanks, Annette. I think you're great too.
Okay, I'm gonna try following your example from now on. It's time I stopped moping around here and put everything I've got into training. Right, Caspar?
That's the spirit. Let's get out there and train. I'll race you to the stables.
Yeah!
Take that, you goons! And that!
No, Catherine's at it again. She has charged too far forward. I better join her before she... Are you all right?
That's what I was going to ask you. How could you be so reckless? All those times you scolded me, and now you get yourself all beaten up. To think, nearly getting yourself killed in a minor skirmish like this one.
Quite right. Thankfully, I am not badly hurt. My apologies. I didn't mean to worry you.
What's gotten into you?
How do you mean?
Don't play dumb. I was supposed to patrol this area, not you. What are you even doing here?
Just happened to be passing through?
Sedith, this isn't like you bumped into me on a stroll around town. Nobody passes through a battlefield.
All right. I wanted to protect you.
What?
You'd pressed much too far ahead. I feared your life might be in danger. Once that thought occurred to me, I could not stand idly by. I had to shield you from harm.
And you were injured in the process. I don't know what to say. Sedith, I didn't realize you worried so much about my safety. I apologize, and I'm grateful. I guess we really are companions.
I did not do this merely to assist an ally. I did it for you. I don't want to lose you. And if I am willing to risk my life to protect you, just think how much scolding I am capable of. So you had best take better care of yourself.
All right, you've made your feelings clear. When you say it like that, I can't refuse. I'm sorry for making you worry all the time. I'll be more careful. I promise.
Please do. For my sake and yours.